two people today wanting to make comments. Jessica Saxton. Jessica, if you would come forward. Jessica.
Thank you so much. My name is Jessica Saxton. I'm a civil rights advocate and litigator from Washington, D.C. I need to provide notice to the council today. This is in accordance with USCS Rules of Civil Procedure, as well as Rule 17 and Rule 20 of the United States Supreme Court. The Constitution of the United States is the overarching requirements that every state must follow. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. States cannot enact their own alternative legislation in substitution for the guarantees of the Constitution. That would mean that the state laws are more powerful than our Constitution. Clause 1 of Amendment 5 states that no person should be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment or indictment by a grand jury. However, the state of Texas, unfortunately, has enacted its own alternative legislation that permits prosecuting attorneys and police officers to charge by way of information as opposed to indictment. That is unconstitutional. An emolument violation is when you pay a public official to commit a crime. There are two areas in the Constitution that enforces this. The first one is Article 1, Section 10, that states, "No state shall create any law that shall impair the obligation of contract." Police officers, prosecutors, and judges are all under contract, a contract to perform based upon the oath or affirmation that they took. The contract perimeters are defined within the Constitution of the United States. So when the state enacts its own laws that directs their agents to obey or disobey the Constitution of the United States, that would be a violation of Article 1, Section 10. The second one is the 14th Amendment, where you'll find the reinforcement of this issue that states, "No state shall create or enforce any law that shall abridge the privileges or immunity of United States citizens." The privileges and immunities of United States citizens are, at a minimum, those that are enumerated in the Bill of Rights and the first 10 Amendments. The state of Texas, unfortunately, has enacted a law in its inferior constitution that is permitting public officials, law enforcement, whom you pay, to violate the Constitution of the United States. As a result, there's an inordinate amount of people currently imprisoned in Texas illegally and unconstitutionally. Tanoa Downing is preparing to litigate this issue at the United States Supreme Court on behalf of more than 700,000 people currently imprisoned here in America unconstitutionally. I'm here today to provide you notice that if you continue to pay public officials to break the law, that criminal sanctions can come from that. Officials must be made aware that paying people to disobey the law, the United States Constitution, is an emolument violation, it is illegal, and it is unconstitutional. I'm asking you, honorable individuals, to please take a look at Clause 1, Amendment 5, confirm what I'm saying to be true, and direct your public officials to act in a lawful constitutional manner consistent with the obligations that are codified in the Constitution of the United States. I do have something that I'd like to put on the record, please.
Thank you. So my name's Tanoa Downing. I'm the civil rights litigator that Ms. Saxon was just referring to. The reason why we're here is this is the 16th stop of 55 that we're doing over the next 40 days to try to bring awareness to this issue so we can get it addressed. You guys pay for the police services. The county commissioners, they pay for the jail and the sheriff. If the police are choosing to rely upon an inferior state statute that is in violation of the Constitution, then they go out and do that work, then that would mean that you guys are paying for it. So when you have a budget item here, such as 6.1, that's requesting budget for law enforcement to be able to perform their work, we need to let you know that we need to correct their behavior to act in a constitutional manner. Now, Texas has created a law in its inferior constitution that allows for the prosecuting attorney or the police officers to charge by information by their discretion. That is not lawful because you can never, ever, ever use discretion with regard to one's obligations. Obligations must be performed. Otherwise, you're using your discretion abusively to break the law. And so Texas is not the only state. There's actually 28 states that currently allow for prosecuting attorneys to charge by information or indictment. And I'll let you know that with regard to information, Title 18 subsection 555 says that information can only be used as a charging instrument for non-infamous crimes, for misdemeanors, not even for felonies. So the fact that the state of Texas has that in its constitution is actually in violation of federal laws. So the law that applies to criminal conspiracy with regard to public officials, what it says that any person who having knowledge of any of the wrongs conspired to be done, and who have the power to prevent or aid in the prevention of the commission of same, neglects or refuses to do so, may be joined to dispense the action. We're not trying to get anybody into trouble at all. Don't get us wrong. We're here because we want to provide notice to you guys, and hopefully we can all work together to avoid any further litigation. But once being made aware of this situation, you do have an obligation now to take action to correct this behavior. Because the only thing that makes America America is the Constitution, and we want to make sure that we get that preserved, because when we don't follow the Constitution, we have a breakdown and fracturing of this nation, and we don't want to see that happen anymore. So I'm going to end it with this, that we have been in communication with Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, as well as also Senator Kennedy, and they do agree that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and when state judges or county prosecutors fail to follow federal law, they are in violation of the Supremacy Clause, they are committing a crime, and they are subject to arrest. I would ask you guys to please discharge the duties of your office, fulfill the obligations and promises that you made to the people of the state of Texas, and let's support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all means foreign and domestic. Thank you so much. God bless.
All right.